What's up, besties and homies? It's your girl Aisha checking in, back with another video. If you're new to the channel, welcome to Strong Friends Check-In Podcast. Monique and DL Hughley have been going back and forth online and in the media for quite some time. I think it's been at least a year. I was recently reading some comments and watching videos about all of the drama between them, and I noticed that there are a lot of Black women who have this blind, odd allegiance to DL Hughley. I mentioned this before in a previous video, but it's just odd and it's just getting more absurd as time goes on. I don't really understand it because DL Hughley has a history of disparaging Black women. So in this video, I'm just going to produce the receipts, and I pose the question to Black women: is this the protection that you want?
And then let's face it, he called them hoes, nappy-headed hoes, and they weren't hoes. But it was some nappy-headed women on that team. Shut up, I'm gonna say it, I don't give a damn, y'all like it or not, it's true. Them are some of the ugliest women I ever seen in my whole life.
The star of one of the hottest dramas in the country chokes the fuck out of his wife. That doesn't ever happen. I don't think it happened, first off, like the time Warren Sapp was getting ready to do the Super Bowl and some broad said that he raped her. There are just as many examples of women lying on men in the middle of divorce proceedings to get what they want as there are men who actually do anything. He says, my point is, if he did what she's alleging he did, she could still get all that she's going to have and not bring it up now when it damages his market value that she's going to be impacted by. If he loses that job, nobody's living in Calabasas anymore, and he's referring to his part or role on Scandal, which, by the way, ABC decided not to renew his contract. The next part is the part that I think is needlessly vicious, so let me go ahead and read this to you. He says, I guarantee you 3 years from now, she's going to be thinking, damn, I should have shut the fuck up. Women always running out the mouth when they shouldn't. This bitch was thirsty. The bitch was thirsty. What, she gone go back to dancing? She gone fuck up her money.
Okay, you wrote that really well. That was very authentic
I'm
reading.
sorry, I don't speak that way. So like,
okay, oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he says, I wasn't joking. I said it in seriousness. So what I will apologize for is putting my mouth on a woman who was victimized by a man who I know, and before I knew the facts, or before I knew the severity, or before I knew much of anything about it. And so to Tanny McCall Short, I basically said that she was probably a gold digger, and I had no idea of the severity of what was going on. So I don't condone violence. I've been married to a woman for 30 years, and I can honestly say I've never physically abused anyone, well, men, but they deserved it. And I've never encouraged a woman to be silent deliberately about abuse.
I love her, and I know that I'm in love with her, and I know that I've done things that aren't worthy of that, but I don't pretend as if they didn't happen. I've cheated. I've been, hard to deal with. I've said mean things. I've done mean things. I've never been physically abusive, but I would say I've been emotionally and spiritually abusive, yes. Getting ready to spend my last weekend with my family. And
you figured your wife was going to leave you after that?
Oh, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
So that was a dumb plan in retrospect, but so Saturday night I'm performing at Maverick Flats in Los Angeles. My friend calls me and says, the baby's in the hospital, he's not going to make it. And I remember praying that God would take this off me all that time. I was like, and instantly I thought two things. My prayer was answered, and it was the worst thing that ever happened.
In the worst possible way it was answered, yeah.
So I go to the hospital and I walk past the family, and he is laying there in the bed, and I see him and I see her and her boyfriend and her family, and they're all staring daggers at me. And I went to him and I tell him I'm sorry, because I know I would have, or I like to believe that I would have been a father. So I go home, and it was the quintessential bittersweet moment. So I go to church with my family. I pull over to a phone booth. I call the hospital, and they ask me who I was, and I tell them that I was his father, and they say he just passed. And it was the same moment that I had planned in my head to tell my wife that I hadn't, that what had happened.
Was the boyfriend charged?
Yeah, he went to jail. Yeah, he went
For a
to
long
jail.
time?
Not long enough.
Not long enough.
He's out. So he killed a kid. He's here.
Killed your kid.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't say anything because he didn't want to jeopardize that relationship with a really good friend, and he didn't believe his daughter. We posted that. And then we left a caption under that, pretty much saying, if that black man couldn't put any protection around his own daughter, we know we have nothing coming. Now, once we posted that, the reason why I said, Daddy, can we go do a live? Because I was reading the comments on the timeline, and most of them are from black women. And they're saying, some, Monique, what does this have to do with your contract? What does this have to do? You're going too far. What does this have to do with your contract? Let me tell you what it has to do with my contract. Not a damn thing. Not a damn thing. It has nothing at all to do with my contract. What it has to do with is the character of the man named D.L. Hughley. That's what this has to do with. And let me acknowledge, D.L. Hughley did apologize. He said he apologized. And y'all are saying, Monique, he owned his mistake. Let me say this to you. Though he owned it, it does not erase the trauma.
So Monique was on. Every time I see Monique these days, she's on doing some greasy ass video with her and her daddy complaining about something or working out. I don't know nobody that work out that much and gain weight unless every crunch you do has got Captain in front of it.